Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while, don't come for me, but I am back and I'm here to review the movie Queen and Slim. I'm very excited about this film and I'm very excited to share my thoughts and to get some insight from you guys too of how you thought the film went and what you think of the dynamics and the plot and all that good stuff. So thank you for joining my channel and I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's going to be a long one, so grab some tea. Girl, grab some tea. I lit an incense just to set the mood, and I want to discuss this movie with you guys because there's a lot to discuss. If you guys don't already know the plot of the story, basically there's two black people that meet on Tinder. They go out and have dinner together, and this is their first date. They're just meeting, and the whole kind of underlying thing behind it was like she just kind of did it to free up to spend time with someone or fill up a space that she had a void in at the moment. She wasn't really that interested in him in the beginning, and he was there because he brought her to this diner because this is his spot that he goes to. He likes this place. It's black owned, and yeah, this is where he's taking her. This hometown little diner. He's not pulling out the stops for her, and she recognizes that. So in the beginning, on their date, it's not going well. She's very guarded. She's very dismissive to him, and he's very lax and like, this is where I go. This is me. Accept me for me. Like, I got this. This is who I am, right? He's very religious. You can notice that in the beginning. He is praying before a long prayer before his food is before he takes a bite of his food. But then he goes to like eat her food, and she's like, dude, like, okay, whatever. Anyway, he's arrogant. She's dismissive. Date is not going well. After the date, they proceed to drive her home. And in the car, he's like, oh, well, what are we going to do next? And she's like, nothing. Like, we're going home. Like, I'm going home. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going home. And so he kind of assumed that something was going to happen. And she was just like, whatever. Like, I don't know what you thought, but this ain't that. So they get stopped by the cop. Basically, the cop gets shot. I'm not spoiling anything. You guys can see this in the trailer. The cop gets shot, and then they start going on the run. They don't really have a plan, but they're driving south, and they stop in, what was it, Kentucky or Tennessee? Kentucky, and then they go to Alabama, then they go to New Orleans, Georgia, and then Florida. I think that's how it goes. But basically they're driving south, and it's about their journey driving. A lot of the moments are in the car, which usually I don't like, but that I didn't mind because it created like their home and their atmosphere. You see a lot of changes within themselves happen in the car, and I think that was a good way to kind of use symbolism, because usually you grow with, you know, you have this relationship and you grow with each other like in a house, and a house is so big and abundant. You have so much time, you have so much. But in a car, you're like, we're in this small space. This is what we got right now. You know, this is what I'm gonna do with what I got. So I think that was a good. I use the car as a symbol, as a symbol as a relationship. This is their first date. This happens on their first date. They don't have no space, no time to do anything. They just gotta go. So I think this was, I see the connection between that. A lot of the symbols that we see are actually people. They're not really items or things like that. They're actual people. So one person that I saw as a huge symbol was Goddess, who was one of the girls that stayed in the house of her uncle Earl. Goddess, who is played by India Moore, who is seen on Pose, Angel on Pose. She was the person to really flip the switch for Queen. She was the person to be like, listen, men are, you know, you have to treat them, you have to honor them in a way that things are getting taken care of. You know, you have to remember that he's in this situation with you. He's scared just like you. But if you're there by his side and you're encouraging him and you're making him feel a certain way, then he's going to do everything in his power to get you guys through this. So she mentions that, for example, when she was saying that, you know, she appreciates when her uncle kisses her on the forehead, when Slim's uncle kisses her on the forehead, and, you know, out there he's nothing. Like, in the world he's nothing, because he deals with so much. He is a war veteran. He deals with PTSD, and he's very problematic. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a problematic man. He is just a lot. But inside his home, within his home, he's the king, and she treats him according to that. So with Queen, I think she had to realize, you know what, I can't be so dismissive to him. I need to really try to understand where he's coming from, because we're in this together, one, and I don't know everything, you know. And for me, I think that was so good. That was so good, because I can speak for myself as a black woman, and I'm sure other black women can attest to this. You can deny it if you want to, and if you're not ready to have that conversation, that's fine. But I'm here to say that that's something that black women deal with. That's something that we try to, we can be so, like, on top of things, because I think we're so used to being that person to just do, like, everything. We're so used to just taking that role that we never hand it off. Like, we never just, and I'm not saying that she was just like, you know, I'm done, like, I'm not doing anything. No, she was in support of him. And I think that's something that I have to learn. I can't speak for other people, but I have to learn that, because it's very real. It's a thing that happens. So her learning how to encourage him in a positive way, and learning how to understand his emotions and read the signs, and it's kind of like a love language, kind of understanding, like, okay, what this person needs to succeed and what you need to succeed, and how to balance that out. And I think that was portrayed very well in the film, because throughout the film, he starts to grow a sense to her and understanding, okay, she's the way she is because of this, and I need to do this to make her feel better. So in the end, it was all about, they were trying to get away, but it was more of comfort. They were comforting each other, and I think that was very intimate and very sensual, and I think it was something that needed to be portrayed, because I've never seen that with two dark-skinned black actors on film before. I've never seen that. So I thought that was amazing. Another thing that I thought was really, really interesting. So I went to see the film twice. First with my godmother, my mom, and my brother. And we're very, like, we're avid movie lovers. Like, we love film and art and all things black. Like, we're very, like, art. So we went to see it, and it was so funny, because we went to a small theater, and everybody in the film was quiet. Like, you can hear a pin drop. It was so quiet throughout the film. Nobody talked. We were all just, like, there, tuned in. We were trying to capture everything and just take it all in and understand exactly what was going on in the film, and just accept the gift that this was giving us. Then the second time, I went with my sisterhood group, which was like a larger group, and in that theater it was more seats and more, like, just there were just groups of groups. There was just you would just see people swarming like 10 at a time. So that was very noisy. And people were talking throughout the whole film. There was a lot of interaction going on. I mean, it was whispers, but it was like you knew there were more people in the room and there were more people in there. So for me, I realized this about myself. I need to go to a small theater. Like, I can't do that. I need to know everything about the film and I need to hear every word. I hate missing stuff. So I just realized that about myself, but whatever. In the film, she, after they have sex, right? Um, they are driving in the car and they're like, he tells the story of where babies come from and how he found out where babies come from. And they swap glances in the rearview mirror, right? And the first time I watched it, I was like, is she pregnant? But I didn't say anything. The second time, when everybody was in the theater, everybody, like, throughout the film until the end was like, oh, she pregnant. Oh, she pregnant. Oh, she pregnant. Like, everybody was like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant. Like, what? So it's so funny because, one, this is their first date. Two, they had sex like 6 hours ago. Like, it wasn't even that long. But we wanted that so bad. Like, we wanted that so bad for them. And this is where I kind of draw the parallel between this movie and If Beale Street Could Talk. Because in Beale Street, we wanted that black love so bad. We wanted them to win so bad. It pained us. It literally ached for us not to see them win. Like, we were just like, oh. Like, we wanted them to be together and live and be happy. And we wanted that life to be grown. And in Beale Street, that actually happened. They were actually able to have a baby, but if you haven't seen the movie, he ends up in prison. He's in prison for like a very long time, and they're not able to be a family the way that she wanted it to be. But in Queen and Slim, they hadn't even gotten to that point. Like, they haven't even, like, Inception may have happened that night, but it wasn't to the point where you saw the full storyline develop, but we wanted it to. We wanted it so bad. We wanted to see them win. We wanted this black love. We wanted them to get away. And it's just interesting because it's like every time we see stuff like this, it's just like, ugh, ah, why? Damn, damn, damn! Why? But it's just, I don't know. It was an interesting tidbit that I noticed, and it's funny that when I first watched it, I saw that, I thought that in my head, like, oh, she might be pregnant. But I was like, no, she just had sex with him. But the second time, everybody voiced their opinion and was like, oh, she's pregnant. Like, the second reaction when I went to the movie theater the second time, people got really upset. And they left. A lot of people left. And I found that interesting. There was a row behind us of like, it had to be like 6 black dudes, like just a row of them. They were probably like, yo, we about to go see this movie, like they about to shoot, like they probably were like ready to see this movie to be like, oh my god, I'm pumped. But they were all mad, like they were pissed off. One dude was like, man, kill, nah, I can't. He was like, he straight left the theater. He was not having it. Enough is enough. I said what I said. So I found that interesting. It was very triggering to some people. It was something that they were just like, you know what? I can't take this anymore. I can't take it. I'm gone. So I found that to be a testament to where we are right now. Like, people are sick and tired of it. But I think it's realistic. We have to be real about it. Did we want this movie to be a happy ending? Of course we did. But not all movies are like that. So I found it interesting. I wanted it to be an alternative ending. Like, I wanted it to be like 2 different endings to happen. But that's not what they saw for the film. So there's that. So I would recommend this film to people that love black fine art or fine art in general. It is so beautiful. It's so well thought out. I mean, every scene has a moment where you're like, oh, I see that, oh, I see that, and it just brings it all together in this homogenous, big, burly, warm feeling. Like, it literally is just so well curated that if you see it multiple times, you'll recognize something else and it would all play back into the storyline, which is beautiful. Not a lot of films can do that. So they did a really good job, and even in the minutia of all the stuff in that house of the uncle, there were so many points that just stuck out to me that I don't think could be it couldn't be so like it's so fine-tuned in any other film, because it's so black and because black people created it. It just plays into this whole idea of, okay, we're in this world, we're in the car with them, we're in these places with them. It just really fine-tunes that. Another thing is my favorite scene was when they went to the juke joint. So that scene was so beautiful. I mean, I can't discuss this enough. The the silhouettes in that scene, just the pure lighting, the whole, oh god, the whole just the whole thing. It was just so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And it's a hole in a wall. It's a spot that you recognize that you don't really recognize. Like, if you live in the South, like, you know that your grandparents might have went to spots like this, or this is where they go to hang out. But it reminds me of such a place that you hear, like, oh, you know, when black people weren't able to have fun, or when black people weren't able to express themselves and be creative, they created these spaces for themselves, and this space represents that. They created beautiful music, dance, the styling, the whole harmony of it all was created in spaces like this. And this is where we get blues and jazz and all these things that we know to be black, and that was just created in that scene, and I just loved it. Oh, music. I can't forget the music. The music.
Mm. The flavor, oh my god, it's so real. Like,
Lord, was amazing. I love the choices that they made. It was so great. It did not force you to have feelings. You were already on edge from the last scene. Like, this was a movie that was anxious. Like, it made you anxious. And the music never forced you to feel anything. You kind of were already in that setting, and the music was like, okay, I'm gonna let you have this, or like, take this right here, like, take that, and I'm gonna let you breathe for a minute, and then we're gonna move on. Like, it was one of those type of music choices. All the music was very it spoke to the scenes that they were in. It spoke to the locations and the settings, and it just, oh, it was so beautiful. Overall, I thought the film was very great. I thought it was something to be admired, something to very, very cinematic, very I hate when people say aesthetic. Like, aesthetic is not an art form. I hate when people say that. Describe it. Describe the film. I think it was very nostalgic, in a way that it brought back some memories, early 2000s, Mike Jones, Sean John velour suits. It was there, okay? But then it was also very, it wasn't very pop culture, but it was very now. Very social media oriented, like, just being in tune with what's going on in the world and having these young people follow you. I don't know. There was so many good things in that film. I appreciated that they got to do things that they've always wanted to do. I appreciated that he smoked a little. He drank a little. Like, I appreciated that. I appreciated that he ride that horse. Like, he rode that horse for a minute and he got off, and I appreciated that. I appreciated that they went dancing. She got to hang out the window and like do her little thing. I appreciate all of that because it's like they kind of knew that it was gonna end, but it still happened. Like, you can't take that away from them. They spent that time together. They fell in love within that short time, and it was beautiful. So if you guys are interested in seeing it, I would absolutely recommend it. I would try to go and try to develop, kind of just make yourself a vessel. That's all I can say. Make yourself a vessel to absorb the art that it is and try to understand it for what it is. Don't assume things. Don't try to make your own conclusions. Oh, why they do that? Or why they do. No, accept it for what it is and bring it in and just develop that sense of, okay, this is the gift that I'm taking in and I'm going to, this is how I feel about it. So I feel like you should do that with everything in your life. I'm so excited to be back on YouTube. You don't understand. It's one of those things that I really just enjoy doing, and I think I found my niche. So it's not going to be all reviews. It's going to be a whole channel about wellness and well-being and self-care and being love. So if you guys are interested in stuff like that, subscribe. I will have more videos for you, and thank you so much for watching. Remember, be kind to yourself. Love you guys.